Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Annie Jamel. So today I wanted to talk about spending, and specifically spending on makeup, because I feel like in the whole beauty community, myself included, we can get to a point where we spend an unnecessary amount of money on makeup. And I also feel like you know, products are constantly being pushed down our throats and we're constantly advertised to. And I don't know, I just want to encourage you guys to be a more cautious spender. And I have some steps and some tips that I use and I apply to my everyday life, and they really help me, you know, keep a good eye on my spending and everything. Now, if you were to look at my makeup collection, it's not too much. I would say I have a realistic makeup collection, but you know, I'm not above it all. I do have my little impulsives in spending here and there, but overall I try to be a very cautious consumer. So, and I want you to be a cautious consumer too. I know me, when I do certain looks using different palettes or everything, it could, you know, basically influence and encourage a person to buy that product or whatever. But I also want to really encourage you guys to use what you have, especially when it comes to makeup, especially eyeshadow, because you can only have so many colors. But anyway, let me just go ahead and get right into it. Okay, so the first thing I would say, and this is a popular one, is to unsubscribe from these emails. Like, these emails, that's how they get a lot of people. Like, I've been, you know, duped in the past with these emails and everything. What I don't like about these emails is the title, the headline. I once got an email from Ulta, and this was May of 2018, and I'm ahead and set it up right there for you. And it said in the title, "Self-control is overrated, and here's why. Plus platinum perk." Now, I thought that was really disgusting. When it comes to people and like these companies, they know people have makeup addictions. And I feel like, say if I was a weak person, if I had a huge makeup addiction, that could have really got me. And another thing is, I felt it was so unnecessary because I've been platinum for Ulta for 2 years. Like, I don't just go there to buy makeup. Majority of the time where I go to Ulta, I buy a whole bunch of skincare and everything. And not just me, my boyfriend too. He gets all his, you know, body wash, skincare and stuff all from Ulta. So I don't know, I just felt that was so unnecessary and just very distasteful, because it's like, I'm at this status. I've already, and this was in May of 2018. By that time, I already had reached platinum status for 2019. And I don't know, I just didn't like that. And I don't like how companies market. Like, it's so gross. Not only that, but it's makeup. It doesn't take a lot to sell makeup. Like, it's pretty, people drool over it. So that title and everything, I just thought that was very disgusting. And that's one of the reasons why I feel like it's very important to unsubscribe for certain emails and everything. Like me, I've unsubscribed from Ulta and everywhere else because I just was like, okay, I'm happy with my collection. Even though like I miss out like on 20% or whatever, but it's like, if I don't need anything, then it's not really saving me anything. And that's the thing about sales. If you really don't want a product at full price, then you're really not saving anything if you get it half off. You're just getting it because it's half off. If you wouldn't look at it twice when it was full price, then you don't need it when it's half off. You just don't need it. You're still spending money. But yeah, just be wary of the emails. And if you notice, when you go to any makeup site, like any cosmetic site, you're on it for like 0.2 seconds and boom, oh, give us your email, you get 20% off, and boom, give us your email, you get this and this. And they used to have the option of, when you click no thanks, to not subscribe your email. But now I'm noticing a lot of cosmetic companies, they're putting like, oh no, I would rather pay full price. So it's like, you either submit your email or you press the button that says, no, I'd rather pay full price. And that's how they get you. They feel like they're doing you a service. They're trying to trick you to make you feel like they're doing you a service when really they're not. because guess what? You could save 100% if you don't spend any money, right? 100% is better than 15% or 20%. So yeah, just be aware of that. So another thing that I've been doing recently, well, not recently. So another thing that I've done in the past when I was really like trying to like not spend any money was unfollow certain brands. Now I say certain brands because you really got to study these brands by their history. If it's a brand that they don't put out a palette every week or every other month, then that's safe for you to follow, especially if you're on a low buy or a no buy. But some of these brands, you just have to stay clear of them. And one of the brands that comes to mind is Colourpop. Colourpop, I just feel like they put out stuff every week. Like today's July 1st. We're in July and I think they've already put out 9 palettes. And if you just go by their history, in 2019, I'm just going to name a couple of palettes that they put out in 2019. They just did the Oh Honey palette, which is the yellow palette. They did the green palette, which is that little monochrome palette. I don't know the name of it. They did the California Love palette. They did the Shayla palette. They did that little blue palette. They did the Main Squeeze palette. They did the Sweet Talk palette. And they did the Villains palette. I don't even know how many that is. But that's roughly 1 palette a month. And if you look at 2018, I'm just going to name out a couple. They did the collection with Bretman Rock, that was 2 palettes. They did the collection with Makeup Shayla, that's 1 palette. They did the Princess palette, the Soul, the Mara palette. They did, was it the Karuchi palette that came out towards the end of last year? It's just too much. Yeah, so I had a longer list, but I just got tired of it. And I'm just like, this is ridiculous. Like, if you go to their site and click on palettes and just look at all the new palettes, really look at it and check how many came out this year. And it really analyze the palettes. Like, are they anything special? Like, if you go to their site and you click on palettes and you really look and analyze the palettes, you'll probably be able to pinpoint when these palettes came out, because like more than half of them haven't been even out for like what, a year? And keep in mind, we're only in July. These palettes, these companies, they're still gonna have to come out with the whole holiday collection. So you gotta keep that in mind too. I feel like that goes in with studying their history. You have brands in general, they put out holiday palettes, whatever, but they also put out summer collections and winter collections and something at the beginning of the year. And it's just, if a brand is known for constantly putting stuff out, then that would be a brand that I would stay away from, especially if you're not trying to spend any money or anything. You just want to stay clear of brands like that. And I know it seems like I'm picking on Colourpop, but it's just, they're the main one that comes to mind. Like me, I do think I follow them, and sometimes I do enter their giveaways or whatever, but Colourpop, I actually never tried their eyeshadows. Oh, lie. I was given one for like their 4th birthday or whatever from last year, and that's the only thing I got. But I mainly got their lipsticks and their concealer. Like the eyeshadow palettes, they just never really been appealing to me. I could change my mind in the future, but as of right now, I never really, got into their eyeshadows, things like that. And for me, it's always been a turn off when a brand constantly puts out product. Like if they're constantly, putting out products to you, I just feel that they're putting quantity over quality. Even though I know people really love Colourpop's eyeshadows, but that's just the way I think about it. If you're constantly putting stuff out, it's just like, okay, they can't all be good, and that's just a turn off for me. And another reason why I bring up Colourpop, because Colourpop is affordable. So that's a very easy brand for you to give your money to. So that's why we really have to be mindful and cautious of how we spend our money in makeup. So another thing I would suggest to you to be a more cautious spender is to wait. And I know sometimes that seems really hard, but just think about it. The palettes, these products, they may sell out, but are they really going anywhere? If they're making the company that much money, do you really think they're really going to be gone? Even like with the limited editions, like sometimes it takes forever for a limited edition palette to like be completely gone. Like I know of some brands, they may market something that's limited edition even before it releases, so you will buy it, but when it comes released, it's like a regular product. Like if you go to the Juvias Place Instagram, I may try to put it up here for you guys. Back like I think a couple of years ago, yeah, I think it was 2017 when it came out with the Zulu palette. When they first announced it, that was supposed to be a limited edition palette. Here we are 2 years later, you can still get the Zulu palette. And that got me because I was into color. I jumped on it and bought it, and I didn't even end up liking the palette. I gave it away like a while ago. But that's something you have to be mindful of the marketing, like if it's limited edition. And if something is really limited edition, if you don't get it, what's the worst that's gonna happen? And if something is really limited edition and you're not able to get it, is that really the end of the world? Like, I feel in terms of the makeup world, like, new releases, they only serve as a quick fix. Like, we're always going to be excited by something else really soon. So that's why I try to, you know, encourage you guys, like, don't really buy into the hype of, oh, limited edition, this and this. Now, I know certain brands, they stay true to their limited edition stuff, but I don't know, even when it is true, I feel like it takes a while to sell out. Like, I know the beginning of, I want to say the first 3 or 4 months of this year, you could have still got the Prism palette, and that came out of what was it, that came 2017. Yeah, it was a holiday palette for Anastasia Beverly Hills in 2017, because the last one was the Sultry palette. But here's that's like over a year later, you can still get you could have still got the Prism palette. So just be mindful and don't let the limited edition really get you guys. Another reason why waiting is good for you and your spending is because you could actually come across a sale that you've been waiting for, and it could actually be beneficial for you and your spending. Perfect example is, for me, it was the Urban Decay Born to Run palette. I really wanted that palette, but I wasn't going to pay $49 for it. I just was like, okay, well, maybe it'll go on sale. So I waited and waited and waited, and I think like last month or so, it was on sale for like $29. That's what, $40 off. And that's a good sale, but like, for me, because I waited, my urge died down. I'm the type of person, if I see a palette and I want it, the first thing I do is compare and contrast the colors to the palettes that I already have. And after doing that, I'm just like, I don't really need this palette. But that could have been something that really benefited me, because I did want that at full price. Like I stated earlier, if you want to pay full price for it, don't pay half for it. And for me, I wanted it at full price, but I wasn't going to pay full price for it. So when it went on sale, I'm just like, I'm happy with what I have. Now, a palette that I did consider getting at full price, but I'm glad I waited because I was able to get it on sale, was my Huda Beauty Rose Gold Remaster palette. Sometimes I want things at full price, but I just don't want to spend the money on it. Like, even if I could afford it, I just don't want to. So when she had a sale for Black Friday, I got it, and I'm so happy I got it. I don't regret it. It was a bit of an impulsive purchase. Like I said earlier, sometimes we give into our impulses, but I'm glad I waited on that palette because I was eyeing it when Sephora had their 20% off last year. So if you really do want something, just kind of wait it out. One, to see if it'll be on sale for you, and two, to see if you could really, you know, kill the urge, because sometimes the urge dies. Sometimes we just get excited because it's something new and it's not really something that we want. So another thing that's really got me in shape with my spending and being more mindful of what I buy is really analyzing my collection. Now, if you were to go to your makeup collection now and see all the makeup products that you bought this year and compare that to how many times you actually used it this year, would you have say that you gotten your money's worth? Probably not, because again, we're always excited by the new things, and we let the old things get pushed aside to the dust when we have good products that work for us. So that's one thing that I constantly try to do. I constantly look at my palettes and I'm just like, oh, I haven't used that in a while, I need to pull that up. Or I haven't used this in a while, so I really need to use that. Also, when analyzing your collection, it's good to question yourself why you bought that product. Like, can you say that you go to your makeup collection and look at all your products and just be, I don't know, regretful? Or would you say you wouldn't regret your purchases? I mean, I feel like we all have some things that we regret buying, even I do. So me just reminding myself of what I have and why I have it, that really helps keep me from spending and encourage me to use what I have. So another thing with analyzing your collection, I would say to not compare your makeup collection to others. You can have a realistic makeup collection and you feel that it's small because it is a realistic makeup collection, but say you watch a whole bunch of declutter videos or makeup collection videos and you're just like, oh, well, I don't have a lot because they have a lot. And I know I used to fall into that, thinking of being like, well, I don't have a lot because look how many she has, or look how many he has. He has 80 palettes, they have 250 palettes, so my collection is small. And that's a very dangerous way to think, because you're constantly comparing. It's like, oh, I don't have a lot. If you're thinking you don't have a lot, you're thinking you don't have enough, when in reality you probably do. And not only that, is if you think you don't have enough, you're gonna try to get more. And if you're gonna try to get more, you're less likely gonna use what you have. And that brings me to my next point, is to use your collection. This is important because you really learn about your products the more you use them. And when I say the more you use them, I'm talking about long-term use. Like for me, my Magic palette, when I first got it, I used it once and I didn't really like it. But you know, I did my my Magic Monday series, and I've been learning more about the products, using them different ways, and just using them over time. And I'm liking it more and more, and that encourages me to use it more and more. Another thing that I have that I didn't like at first is my Anastasia foundation stick. Now, it's not my favorite, and for a while it just sat there because I didn't like it, but I had to, you know, encourage myself to use it. I'm like, okay, I bought this. I had to, you know, be mindful of like, hey, I spent money on this. And I'm not the type of person to just take makeup back like that, especially after I used it, because, you know, they can't sell it or anything, so it's not good for the earth. But you just learn more about the products the more you use them. Like this, I know I have to use it with my MAC Fix Plus spray, and it works beautifully there. And at first I would always say I wouldn't rebuy this, but now I'm like on the fence. It's a possibility that I may buy this product again, even though I didn't like it at first. So we can't always go by first impressions, our first impressions. We can't always go by the first time we use things. Sometimes we really have to use things in certain ways, even sometimes different climate, because I feel like that foundation works very good in the winter and I don't like it during like warm seasons or whatever. I'm wearing it now because it's my YouTube foundation, so whenever I film a video I make sure I put that foundation on. But not only learning about your products, the more you use your products, the more you appreciate what you have, and the more you're content with your makeup collection. And the more you're content with your makeup collection, the least likely you are to add in some products. Now, I know, like I said earlier a couple of times, we all have our impulse spending that we like to do, little impulses here and there, but I just feel like these tips will help you maybe narrow it down a little. So let me know what you think about this video. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know some tips that you applied to your life to help you, you know, narrow down your spending and keep it control. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.